almost like I missed you, but I could never let myself forget all my love you misused, so I won't play your games. I don't need your love, I don't need your touch.
What's going on, guys? Jared Mayer here with All Wrapped Up Customs 505, and today we are going to be taking care of the infamous grid heater bolt that fails and falls into the intake track and takes out your engine. I've been nervous for a while. I feel like when it gets warm or when it's hot that bolt's just going to heat up and brittle itself apart and disintegrate and take out my engine. So rather than have that worry anymore, I'm just going to take care of it today. So today we're going to be installing the Glacier diesel grid heater delete. I've had it for a while, just been lazy. So sorry for the gunfire, guys. The National Guard's going a little crazy today with their shooting range. But without further ado, yeah, we're gonna get rid of this problem and keep this Cummins alive. So let's get started. Alrighty, guys, so first step would be to remove the intake horn. So this is my Shibby Engineering Stage 1 intake horn. I'm gonna probably be upgrading this because this was probably at the time when I had put this on and upgraded this was the only version and that was available. I believe I was like in 08 or something, so it served its purpose, but they have better flowing ones, bigger ones, better looking ones. So I will be upgrading this. This is also upgraded. I'll keep this, as they're both the Shibby Engineering. But yeah, we got to take off this. So I believe this is a 10, that's a 10. So we got to loosen those clamps up, and that way we can get this disconnected. And then we got to take off these bolts, and I believe those are also 10s. We'll take all those off, remove the dipstick. And that should be able to just pull that off. So we'll jump to that step next. You're going to need a screwdriver also, because the silicone a lot of the times gets heated and gets stuck to there, so you're going to have to get a screwdriver and go around. I have a metal trim removal tool that's kind of forked. It's kind of forked down like that, so I'm going to probably use that, because that usually budges it around. But whatever works for you, and we'll jump to the next step. Okay, so there's a 10 here, a 10 here, a 10 here, a 10 here, a 10 there, a 10 here, and then there's a 10 on the back side of this that holds this like little wiring harness back here, right there. I'm holding it with my finger, so this goes to right there. Take all those off and then slide this out, and this whole intake horn should come out. And we could start taking off the lines. We'll jump to that step next. So there's also two sensors. As I was unhooking it from here, you got to disconnect this sensor right here. That one's held together by, so you got to undo this little red clip and then push down and pull out. And then I have this boost fuller from BD Diesel, but what would be in place of that would be this connector right here. So we got to unplug those with the intake horns out, and I have a little piece I have to repair here. There's a little leak right there, so I'll probably get a new piece, this whole new line. But yeah, now we can start taking off all the lines and stuff. So we'll jump to that step next. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this first line here. I did get a piece. I'm gonna get some of this masking tape, and I'm going to put a little piece around it and mark it 1, 2, 3, and just mark the orientation that it comes off. I did that the first time when I had to put this fuel rail shim bolt in here. And yeah, so we'll jump to taking all those out. You have to unplug this to give yourself some room, and I'm not going to undo this if I can't, so I'm going to see if I can get away with just leaving this connected. So we'll jump to undoing all the lines. It is also a 19 millimeter wrench you're gonna need to break these free. Alrighty, guys, so it started pouring on me, so I had to stop for like an hour. But I got all the fuel lines off, they're all labeled. I have one more I gotta get off, which is right here. and this one right here. So these two, sorry. And then I could undo the fuel rail, and then we'll take off the grid heater. So we'll go from there. I ended up using a combination of wrenches on wrenches. I ended up just starting to use a crow's foot. So just word to the wise, that right there was what made the job a lot easier. So we'll jump to having the fuel with these lines off, and then I'll jump to what it'll take to take off the fuel rail. Alrighty, so now we're gonna get started taking off the fuel rail. So again, they're 10 millimeters. You need to disconnect, which I already did, your grid heater power, which is right here. I disconnected these two fuel lines. There's one down here that I didn't take off. I just loosened so that it's movable. So that's ready to come off. So there's 110 here. There's another 10. I don't know if you can see my finger back there moving, but there's one right there. There's another one right here. There's another one here. And I believe that's it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fuel rail should come off. So we'll jump to taking it off. Now the fuel rail's ready to come out, but I wanted to point something out. So you need to disconnect your IAT sensor right here. And then once the fuel rail's loose, there's a sensor back here on the back of it that you gotta undo. I don't know if you guys could see it. It's right here. You literally just pull it and it slides right off. And now the fuel rail is off and out, and we can start taking out the we can take out the grid heater. Okay, so there's 3 bolts that hold down the grid heater. So there's one right here, one right behind the little electrical piece, and then there's one back here. Oh, and there's another one right behind the IAT sensor. So we'll undo all those and take the grid heater out. Okay, so the grid heater is out. That's what will take out your engine right there. So we are removing this, and we're going to put in the Glacier diesel one. I'm going to wash some of the parts that came off of the truck, and I took the gasket off because it comes with the new one. So I'll clean this all out and get it prepped for the new one. Alrighty guys, so I vacuumed out and I cleaned that whole area out with carb cleaner, and then I got a vacuum and vacuumed it all out. There was some little tiny rocks that fell off the side, kind of like this right here. You don't want none of this to go into your engine, so I might vacuum it a little more. But I will go to put on the new gasket after I vacuum it one more time, and then we'll start installing the grid heater. Delete. Alrighty guys, so here's a side-by-side comparison. Here's the Glacier diesel delete, and there's the old grid heater. I did clean up the IAT sensor. I used a 27 to take it off. It wasn't on there very tight. So I'm going to screw this back in. We're going to put that back on. So we'll jump to lining this up on the truck after I screw this sensor back in. Okay guys, so you're going to need to put these spacers it came with to assimilate the spacers that were put on the old grid heater. Okay, so you need all those. So one's going to go in this corner, one's going to go here, here, and then one right here. And then this, I believe this one's to that crossover tube. So we will jump to putting this on and lining it up with the bolts. I just wanted to give you guys a demonstration. It also came with a brand new metal gasket from Cummins. There, it's already installed. There's the package for it. And then it came with also a new grid heater, intake horn gasket also. So let's go put this on. Okay, so the grid heater's lined up, the gasket's on, and I lined it up with the bolts that you don't need spacers for, to make sure that the gasket's in alignment. So when you refer to the old grid heater, this is the spacer locations. These are the locations that you can use to line up your gasket, and that's what I have simulated there. Once I clean my fuel rail up, because it's a little grimy, I will torque all these down to I've seen 22 foot-pounds and 27. So I think I'm going to go in the middle and meet at like 25. So I will start torquing them down. At this point, you are going to plug your fuel rail back into that. Well, mine's a little different because this is I have an MP8 module, so mine's a little rerouted a little differently. But you're going to plug it back into that sensor that goes into the back right there. Alrighty, and then we're going to place this on the spacers and just see how everything lines up, so we'll go from there. Okay, so everything lined up good. Ready to just tighten the bolts down. One thing to mention when I was doing this, that bolt right there with that little stud that's sticking out of the nut, I went berserk last night. I actually had to just take a break because I thought I was missing a bolt, and I forgot I have an aftermarket dipstick holder, so I have a different bolt for that. Typically you would have one like that other one, but instead that's the one I have. So yeah, just in case you have an aftermarket dipstick holder, you may have a different bolt for that one location. But we'll go to tightening it all down and then starting to plug the sensors back in, and then rerouting the we'll start to reroute the fuel lines. Alrighty guys, so I got the first fuel fitting in. It's back there, it's the last one, it's number 6. All mine are labeled, so I'm gonna do number 5. I just took the tape off of number 5, so I'm gonna just keep moving my way down, and we'll jump to having all the fittings back on the fuel rail. Alrighty guys, so the fuel rail is back on. All the fittings are tightened. Now to put the intake horn back in, plug the MP8 module back on, and then so we'll jump to putting the MP8 module back on here. So once I get to this step, we'll go over a little overview of everything. Alrighty guys, so now that the MP8's plugged in and the intake is all bolted down, the last step we need to do is tighten the clamps on the bottom of the intake horn down here. So we'll just do that, and then we're ready to start her up. Alrighty guys, so that's everything. It got dark, so just showing you guys an overview of everything. My MP8's back plugged in. Everything's installed, torqued down. All in all, it was a pretty easy install. The only thing I would say is definitely get some crow's feet wrenches, long wrenches, and other than that, you should be good to go. You can get by with just regular wrenches, but you're gonna need to get some leverage tools, so like pipes and stuff like that. But all in all, pretty easy install, straightforward. Hopefully this video helps some of you. Until next time guys, we are headed to Vegas, so be looking forward to some Vegas footage. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching.